Ahojte, ahojte moje milované bytosti.
Hi, my beloved. Welcome, Mirka Halamova on the receiving end. Welcome to my studio. I would like to start by saying that this video is going to be a little bit unusual. I would like to welcome my good friend Martin Philipp, who I met thanks to these wonderful beings here. Today, we're going to talk about titanium pyramids. This is my first interview with someone. I haven't done it before, so you're the first.
Je to môj prvý v podstate taký rozhovor s niekým.
This is no coincidence. Nothing happens by chance, and we'll get to all of that. And there are also some tantalizing tidbits, not just about the pyramids, but about what you can experience with them. So, let me introduce Martin Philipp, who makes pyramids with his friend.
Vyrába so svojím kamošom.
With a friend, a colleague.
S kamarátom, s kolegom títo nádherné.
With a friend, a colleague, these wonderful beings that help us raise vibrations.
No a...
Hello to you as well. Hello, viewers. I think the topic of pyramids in general, and particularly the titanium ones, is so fascinating that I'm really glad we're going to talk about them. Thank you for the invite.
Díky, ja sa teším, že sme spolu.
Thank you. I look forward to getting together and bringing you this information. I'd probably start with how I came across the pyramids and then hand the floor over to Martin for him to tell you how he found me, without the two of us making any arrangements. I saw a show the other day called Paths to Self. I bet a lot of you watch it. A beautiful human being from Germany brought the show to my attention. Anyway, the show's where I first came across titanium pyramids. Martin spoke so beautifully on the show.
Martin o tom rozprával nádherne, ale ja som tiež trošku niekedy taký...
But sometimes I tend to be rather skeptical, so I was thinking, does it really work the way he says it does? And when Martin said that the pyramids helped create vibrations so fierce that a jungle suddenly sprang up in the garden, I said to myself, I have to have it. I have to try it. I was very excited about that, and I proceeded to order not one, but a couple of the pyramids for the whole family, of course. I just have to go all in on everything. And I have to say that he really did not lie. That pyramid really does the job, because our garden completely exploded this year, and I'm going to put a picture here for you to see. I don't have the before picture, but I do have the now picture, and the garden is an utter jungle, so the pyramids do work.
Pyramidky fungujú.
And at this point, I'd like to add to your pyramid collection. I brought you one as a gift, so this one is for you.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you very much.
I don't think you have that size yet.
No, well, that's lovely. You're lovely. Thank you. And no, I don't have this size or color. Wow, thank you so much.
You're
Táto
welcome.
je moja a táto je moja.
This one is mine, and this one is mine, and Martin brought this one. We'll talk about it later. And now I got this one. Well, thank you very much.
you very much.
I really appreciate it.
Nádherné, ďakujem.
Wonderful, thank you. I was going to speak of how I actually got started with these titanium pyramids, so I ordered them from him. I have them not only here at my summer house, but also in my home. I am getting amazing vibes. They can help with a whole lot of things, but now I'd like to give the floor to Martin so that he can tell how he actually found me.
Šiel ku mne.
Well, I've seen your videos, and
It was by chance. He received them by chance.
I have to say, I was fascinated by what you were saying, the way you were saying it, the energy you exuded, and I decided to go to your seminar. And I actually did about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I guess so.
When I went to your weekend meditation seminar, and I have to say, it was amazing. It raised my vibrations. When I went to the seminar, I was in this kind of work setting, calls, emails, and it took me 6 hours to get to you, of which I spent 2 hours stuck in traffic jams and the rest of the time moving slowly forward. On the drive back, when the increased vibrations kicked in, after I relaxed so nicely during the seminar, I was back home in 3 hours. Unbelievable. The journey was completely calm. No problems. Everything went smoothly. Even the motorbikes behind me were driving calmly and didn't even overtake me. It was just fine.
Úplne v kľude. Bolo to taký flow.
Oh, completely calm. It was such a smooth flow. At the seminar, I always say the same thing to all the beautiful creatures that come there, that we basically let everything flow. Yes, there is a schedule and a program, and we go by it, but we let it flow if something comes up. Life's about smooth flow. I follow that as well, and it's so beautiful. Just as you raise those vibrations, you really jump on the wave of the universe as it flows, and the universe is not chaotic at all. It has things exactly where they need to be, and when you've established that pure connection, you just go with the flow. It's beautiful, a wonderful confirmation.
That's exactly what happened, and I really recommend it, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I'll be there when you hold your next seminar.
Dobre, dám vedieť. A povedz mi,
Thanks. Well, I'll let you know. We'll get to the pyramids as well, but tell me now, while we're on the subject, what was the biggest takeaway from that seminar? I'd really like to know because each of the people at the seminar come there for their own reason.
Well, I think it was the calm down, the realignment. That was awesome. And the raised vibrations go hand in hand with that. And as I said, it has manifested itself in the people around me. How we feel inside gets imprinted in the people around, and it's transformed. Actually, to this day, I still feel how I calmed down during your seminar. And it's been 3 weeks.
to je nádherné.
That's wonderful, really great. Come to the seminar. You're invited. It does wonders. Thank you for coming. Thank you, universe. I always say that nothing is a coincidence, and that we met in this life is also not a coincidence, that the titanium pyramids resonated with me, and you happened to see my video, and the invitation to the seminar resonated with you, and you came. The little soul knows a thing or two. The little souls know each other. Well, now let's talk about these beautiful beings. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Thank you. Tell me how you actually got into this, because not many people deal with pyramids, and I'm basically wondering how you took this path.
Robí veľa ľudí a v podstate mňa zaujíma, ako si sa k tomu dostal.
Tak já jsem byl v roce
So I was in Peru in 2012 on a shamanic expedition to drink ayahuasca, to peek behind the curtain of physical reality. And I had a friend with me who, when we got home, invited us to visit him. He had a titanium pyramid in his house, and that's where I first saw it. He was telling us what a powerful energy it emitted. And because I knew he had had some very interesting and profound experiences with ayahuasca, I totally believed what he was saying. But not only that, I then started to feel it myself. So I bought the pyramid too. And as I had it at home, it kept interacting with me more and more. I felt attracted to it. And it actually got to the point where I reached out to Zbyszek, who makes them, to ask him if he needed any help, any support. And he accepted the offer, and, well, that's how we came together. He'd been making them for a few years at that time, and he felt that whoever wanted the pyramid had already obtained it, and he was considering stopping production. And I thought it would be a shame, and that it still had a lot of potential.
Sure.
And so we made a deal. We teamed up. Zbyszek makes them, and I take care of the rest. So that's how I got into the business. I was interested in the pyramid for one reason. It amplifies everything. It's an amazing amplifier, and I've always preferred more powerful things. I have a theory that human life is relatively short from a certain point of view. So why would I choose slow solutions when there is a fast and effective one? And so, like ayahuasca and other things, I was attracted to this pyramid for the same reason.
Úžasné. Ale ako hovorím, nič nie je náhodou.
Amazing. As I say, nothing is a coincidence. I know ayahuasca is amazing in the way that it seriously shows you the truth. It reveals the truth to you. You went to your friend's house, you saw the pyramid, and it just showed you your path, guided you on your path in that purity. It sure did, I think.
Yep, it brought us together with that friend there, and then it was on.
Exactly. Nothing happens by accident. Isn't that amazing? The universe does work in synchronicity. Okay, so that is how it all started. I'm wondering what makes this pyramid so amazing anyway. I can feel it too, and I haven't programmed it yet. I could feel it completely vibrating in my hands. What's behind it? The geometric shape or the angles? Why? Do tell me about it. Tell me what's inside this beautiful thing.
Že prečo? Povedz mi o nej, čo máš v sebe?
Áno,
Krása.
Exactly. It's the shape, the geometry. Actually, it's a copy of the Great Pyramid of Giza, which has a golden ratio in it, and that's a very important thing in the sacred geometry of the universe. And the second thing is the material, titanium. Titanium is an amazing material. It has tremendously powerful energy. When you consider the mass, the atoms, molecules, the matter is held together by a force, gravity. For the record, David Wilcock says that gravity is not a force that attracts, but on the contrary, it's a force that pushes something inside that mass. The harder the material, the more force had to be applied, and titanium is hard. It's strong in tension, so clearly the force holding it together must be enormous.
I can feel it, especially when I touch it, and especially when you brought the big one yesterday. I'll tell you the experience I had with it. It's amazing, and I'm grateful this beautiful thing found its way to me. Yesterday, when we were outside drinking tea, chatting, as soon as you pulled it out, I could feel the vibe coming out of it. It was just buzzing, and I was full of vibes, just out of being about a meter away from it. It's really amazing. What can you tell us about them? What can we use them for?
Čo by sme ich teda mohli používať?
Well, the pyramids are actually multifunctional devices that have a wide range of uses. There's really a lot to talk about. I don't know where to start.
I know that our garden works, but I also know that the pyramids also work when it comes to healing, because we were talking. We'll talk about the tidbits in a little while.
Yes, they purify and harmonize the environment around us, inside us, and they work on a physical, mental, and spiritual level. They work on water and many other things, and to be honest, I don't know where to start. I brought a cheat sheet so that I'd know where to start.
You know what? I'm personally very interested in water because I am a water element and I know what the pyramid can do. It showed me yesterday, but tell us something related to water.
As we know, our bodies are made up of up to 80% water, depending on our age and drinking regime. And the pyramid has an amazing effect on water. It cleans water, changes its structure. We're probably all familiar with the name Masaru Emoto, who studied the effect of environmental influences on water, where he let something act on the water, then froze the water and photographed its frozen crystals. The frozen crystals then showed you clearly whether they had harmonious or discordant shapes. And this gentleman inspired me so much that I found a lab in Switzerland that can also photograph this. I set up a bottle of water next to the pyramid over the weekend, and on Monday, I sent it by express to Switzerland.
It should be stressed that it was distilled water, which should be quasi-dead.
Right. And most importantly, the water should be free from any influences that would have distorted the crystals beforehand. Well, I sent it to them, and they sent me back 21 photographs in a couple of days. And those photographs, most of them, showed beautiful snowflakes, those regular hexagons, beautiful harmonious shapes, as we know them just from those pictures of Masaru Emoto. And the last photograph, and this is the most puzzling thing, did not show a snowflake, but an outline of a runner. And I should too say, why the figure of a runner?
Are they making fun of you?
I started running a couple of years ago. At first, I just ran 100 meters in the garden and couldn't breathe. But then I powered through it, felt good doing it, and ended up in about a year running 50-kilometer tracks. I ran nearly 4,000 kilometers in a year. I ran every day, and I actually had this information written in my energy field, that I was a runner in body and soul.
Right.
And what exactly happened, we've had these pyramids at home for a long time, and they scan their surroundings. They're receivers, but they're also transmitters. Well, the pyramids just read me. It read my field, it read that I was a runner, and it relayed that information and imprinted it
That's
in that water.
terrific.
And by doing that, the pyramid actually showed that it imprinted that information from that subtle plane into physical reality, into a two-dimensional form. That's interesting in its own right, but it actually does the same thing also with our thoughts. The pyramid manifests those thoughts in that physical three-dimensional reality. So the thing that we actually think of obtains a form, becoming a hologram.
It becomes reality.
Exactly. An event or a thing.
As a result, it amplifies the things we think about or we would like to materialize and basically materializes them right back to us.
Exactly. If you look at the nature of the universe, or better yet, how I perceive the universe according to all the information and my own experience, I perceive it actually as a kind of simulator that changes our thoughts into these holograms, into certain forms, events, or things. So the universe sort of takes that thought and turns it into a hologram of a thing. And there's some technology needed for that process. And part of that technology, I think, is sacred geometry, so pyramids and photons. We'll get to the photons later, but let me come back to water once again.
Okay.
So actually, here it's been shown how the pyramid harmonizes the water. And when it does that with the water that you put next to it, it's clear what it does to the water in our body.
V našom tele, absolútne. Ja tú pyramidku cítim, proste cítim ju.
Absolutely. I can feel the pyramid. I can just feel it vibrating with me. I can feel it working with me. I can feel it even when we're talking. I can feel it receiving information. I can really feel it. I'm a water element, so I know it. I feel it. As far as water is concerned, have we covered all that? Let me check my cheat sheet because I also prepared a couple of them.
Well, there's a lot more that's interesting to talk about when it comes to water. And I would like to mention drinking habits here. Some people say that there's no need to drink unless you're thirsty. I'd like to say that I think that's nonsense because people often don't feel thirsty, older people especially. And I'll tell you my recent experience. We drink water at home, which has been treated by the pyramids, and I didn't realize that when I go somewhere else, the water there won't taste good to me. I went to Crete recently, and I drank bottled water, and I didn't like it. So I drank a little, but not much. I had a coffee occasionally, a Coke to give me some energy, and that's what I did for a couple of days. Then one day, we went on a boat trip to a little island. It was hot, and of course I started the morning with a cup of coffee and Coke. There was no water.
What a combination. Quite a lot of adrenaline.
And when we were coming back from that little island, where the temperature was about 40 degrees Celsius, and as I was sitting there on that boat, I suddenly started to feel sick. And so I was wondering where I'd go if I were really sick, but I didn't have anything in my stomach, and so I just went with it. Well, all of a sudden, I felt as if my hands were someone else's, like I was losing contact with them. And then, I don't know, I laid there. I passed out. And when I came round, my fellow passengers were lifting my legs up to get blood in my head. I asked them jokingly, "Are you going to throw me overboard?" So I came around in a minute, and everything was fine. But that's when it finally dawned upon me how little I had been drinking. The blood was probably thickening, not carrying oxygen to the brain, and it just cut it all off. So drink, even if you're not thirsty.
I absolutely agree with that, especially now when these high vibration particles are hitting us and the body is going through huge changes. We just need that energy that transforms us because over the years that we've been living here or from our past lives, we've piled on a lot of things that do not serve the highest good. And with those high vibration particles hitting us, Those old settled emotions, things, blocks, programs, and I don't know what else are being pulled out of us. And even the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and I don't know who else, they all recommend drinking a lot of water because that water really runs over our bodies and picks up and carries away whatever is being transformed. So I absolutely agree with that.
Right, right. So really keep an eye on that and don't listen to people who tell you to only drink when you're thirsty. At least 1.5 liters is what I assume is the bare daily minimum.
A samozrejme, v tomto prípade nech si každý...
And of course, everybody has an independent mind of their own. Let them do their thing, follow their own intuitions. But yes, I know it is recommended to drink a lot because you need to really transform that energy.
Exactly.
Přesně tak.
Čo nám, ty máš doma...
You've got a beautiful one at home. Oh, go ahead.
If I can say one more thing about water, an extremely interesting thing. Water changes its structure according to environmental influences. That's clear. I saw a video, a Russian video, I think it was, where they said that during the Cold War, well, it's still going on, I think, there was a scientific military commission of sorts that convened, and they tried to figure out how to make some poisonous chemical weapons to eliminate their adversary. They were debating these deadly weapons, surrounded by those vibrations, and drinking water.
Volali o v těchto vibracích, jo, těchto smrtících zbraní a popíjeli přitom vodu.
And as they were talking, the water reacted to the vibrations, changed its texture, and they said all the people there were eventually rushed into a hospital with some kind of poisoning. So water is extremely interesting.
I know. I've seen the movie Down the Rabbit Hole. The movie is basically a documentary where they also show pictures of that Emoto, how he was examining the water, how they were putting different vibrations in there, thinking about the water. You're ugly, you're bad, and I don't know what else. They just programmed it and photographed the frozen flakes under a microscope. And the flakes were completely broken, ugly, nasty. Then they took another bottle and they said to it, "You're beautiful, you're clean, you're extraordinary." And when they froze and photographed that bottle, the flakes were really beautiful and every single vibration was completely different. So that's very clear proof that everything around us in the universe is basically energy. And the fact that we can program everything around us with our own thoughts has a huge potential, and the water is amazing proof of that.
Úžasný dôkaz tohto.
Exactly. There was another interesting thing about Masaru Emoto. He also put those glasses of water and rice next to each other, and he wrote something under each one of them, such as love or hate. And he also wrote disregard under one of them. And guess which one came out worst? It was the one with disregard written below it. I realized that probably the worst thing is when energy stops flowing.
Máme pejska, a když byl malinký pejsek, tak občas jako zlobil.
We have a dog, and when he was little, he would get angry sometimes, right? And once we said to each other, "Well, now you've done something, and we're not going to pay any attention to you now." And we started ignoring the dog.
Yeah, it takes experience to understand that.
Ste mi na to, aby sme to pochopili.
And the doggy was unhappy. It was obvious that it was the worst punishment we could think of, so of course we didn't last long. But why am I saying that? We have these cells in our bodies, and most people ignore them. They don't even remember that they have them. They don't communicate with them, and then that's what happens too. And you in your seminar, in your meditations,
I was just about to say that.
you guided the people to pay attention to the cells, communicate with them, talk to them, thank them. That's extremely important.
A v podstate aj to preprogramovať, toto mi prišlo tiež tomu.
It's about reprogramming the body. That's exactly what we learn in the seminar, to reprogram your own body, because your body is composed of some particles that vibrate at a certain frequency your entire life. And we give them a hard time throughout our lives. I don't like my feet. My nails are ugly. My hair is terrible. What sort of a body is my body? And I don't know what else. So we basically beat ourselves and kill ourselves all the time. Why are our lives so short? So in that seminar, we actually reprogram those cells to turn around and just be clean, healthy, bright, luminous. And that's what we do there, and that's what we learn there. When we're elevated in those high vibrations, it works very quickly because there's an intention, there's a belief that comes from our heart chakra, and when we're in those high vibrations, it materializes very quickly. I'm talking about miracles, including physical miracles, in terms of makeup, just miracles.
I sometimes imagine I'm a cell. I'm doing some work there in that huge body. And as long as nothing is happening, I'm working normally. But when suddenly the body thanks you, praises you, turns its attention to you, you completely blossom and work even more.
Exactly. That's what I saw happen to my body when I was doing it. I noticed the body is so happy when you say thank you to it. You're so beautiful. Thank you for being there to help me. Yes, that's right.
We could talk about the water for a long time, but we wouldn't get into other things.
Okay, let's go to what you have noted down, the negative ions, and then towards the end, we'll concentrate on the amazing tidbits relating to this pyramid.
Yes. Negative ions, that's an amazing topic too, and important. Negative ions are actually air particles with a negative electrical charge. We humans have a negative charge too, and as we breathe them in, we become energized. The planet has a negative charge too, and the universe has a positive charge, if I'm not mistaken.
I see.
Well, as we breathe them in, we recharge ourselves with energy. The cleaner the environment, and it's beautiful here in your neck of the woods, so the cleaner the nature, the higher the levels of negative ions. It's interesting. Or to be more precise, the pyramids contribute to the ionization of the air on the planet. They take down... Let me rephrase it once again. Cosmic rays are involved in the ionization of the air on the planet, and the pyramids are concentrators of cosmic rays. So it fits together.
And I can confirm this with my story from yesterday.
Exactly. I've been interested in those negative ions for a long time, so I got a meter for that, and I'm always measuring them at home because we have a lot of those pyramids there. And I found that when there's a lot of them in the house and they've been there for a long time, they raise the level of those negative ions. So we arrive at a level that's ideal for our bodies. I recently erected a big meditation titanium pyramid in my backyard.
I saw the picture. Wow, I almost passed out. It's so beautiful. I want one of those too, of course. 2 of them.
The pyramid has a 3 by 3 meter base, so you can fit a person in there nicely. You can stand upright in it. And when it was brought to us last year, one of the first things I wanted to do was measure the negative ions. So when everybody left, I went right in with the meter, and the value it showed was 1,000. 1,000 units per cubic centimeter. That's how it's measured. And it was the same outside, so there was no difference. And I kind of expected it to be more than that, but then I realized the pyramid had only been there for an hour. It hadn't acclimatized yet. I hadn't even welcomed it. I hadn't activated it yet.
Yes.
Calm down a little. So I did the activation. I went to the pyramid. I laid down there. I tuned into the pyramid. I connected with it. Then I went outside and finished it there. I did better when I was sitting in front of the pyramid, so I finished the process outside. And then I took the meter and went to the pyramid. And now what happened? It started at 1,000, but in a moment it started to grow on the display to 2, 3, 10,000, 20, 50,000. When it jumped to 500,000, I ran to get my partner to let her see so that she could confirm it later.
Is it really that high, or have I just gone crazy?
Exactly. We both looked at it, and it didn't stop there at 500,000. It went to 1 million, and it stopped at 1,900,000.
Holy moly.
I was blown away.
Sure.
And that was the end of the experiment that day. And then I was wondering what had caused it. Was it the activation or the pyramid just by itself? I decided to look into the reason why that was happening. And the next day I tried again. I went there in the morning, and again, the reading was only 1,000. So I went in to connect with the pyramid again, and the value went up. So I figured it must be that. But on the 3rd day, it was down again and did not rise up.
Tak jsem si říkal, že udělal jsem si nakonec...
So I finally concluded that the pyramid is obviously reacting to some communication with its owner, the master, and that it showed me its potential. And in my opinion, it showed me that it doses everyone, that if every time...
Podle mě, že to taky dávkuje každému. Že prostě, kdyby tam po každý...
I see, but depending on how much it can give to everyone, right? Because if a low vibration person went in there, 2 million ions per cubic centimeter would blow them away. For the sake of comparison, I went to the Bosnian pyramids, and in some of those catacombs where they meditate and where they keep the healing pyramids in Bosnia, they had about 20,000 ions, and there was one that had up to 45,000 ions. Just now, we've measured them here in this summer house. I've got crystals, pyramids, all sorts of things, but of course, all in all, it's a wonderful environment. And the most we've measured was 3,500?
It went up to 7,000 at one point, but on average, it was between 2,000 and 3,000.
What's so...
That's absolutely ideal for a long-term stay, for permanent living.
What would be the value down in the village, for example? 1,000? 500?
It depends, but yes, I think you're in the ballpark.
A low level because of all that electric smog and all that.
Exactly. Cities generally have lower values.
Sure, very interesting. Just for comparison, his pyramid has almost 2 million, and the Bosnian one was from 20,000 to 45,000. I think 45 it was, so really interesting. I want a pyramid like that.
Ještě bych to jenom teda doplnil, ještě bych to doplnil teda, že to, se to neděje každý den.
So I would just add that it doesn't happen every day, that there's some kind of dosing going on. I don't know the exact effects yet, but it's interesting anyway. I set up the meter in there even at night, so I was measuring the level without me being present. I don't know how many times I measured it. This continued for a couple of nights, and I keep 2 records at home where that level averaged at almost 500,000, almost a straight line.
Wow, that's
It
terrific.
remained at that level of 500 for hours, so it really was a blast.
Wonderful. That's tremendously interesting. Tell me, what was the next point on the agenda? Oh, yes, we talked about titanium. Yeah, I see.
About the titanium, the gold surface here, it's actually coated with titanium nitride. It's not gold, it's nitride.
This is titanium, this is pure titanium, and this is coated with nitride.
Nitride. I was originally going to put gold on it.
I don't know if you can see the difference, perhaps a little.
Jo. To zlato na tom nedrželo, na tom titanu.
But the gold didn't stick on the titanium, and now I understand why. It's not supposed to be on the titanium. It's supposed to be the titanium nitride. It's a compound of the metal with nitrogen, and what it does, it's even harder. Remember when I was talking about the energy that holds the titanium together? It's even harder, and I had a lady who'd been working with a divining rod for over 30 years measure the reach. She had the smallest gold-plated pyramid, and the reach was double that of the traditional titanium pyramid.
Wow.
So we'll keep measuring, keep exploring, keep experimenting. Nitride is harder, so the energy is even stronger, I think. Plus, it protects that surface from getting scratched. Titanium nitride is used to coat drills, for example, so that they last longer.
And how did you figure out that nitride should be used instead of gold?
Well, that was an idea of Zbyszek, a colleague of mine.
Yeah, you guys are a team.
Exactly. I was talking about wanting to gold plate it, but I couldn't do it, and he suddenly came up with this idea instead.
It's nice how one gets connected all of a sudden with the influx of information.
Exactly. And now I actually realize that the titanium nitride was supposed to be in there. And another good thing about this is that the color is reminiscent of Egyptian pyramids. And to anyone who has had anything to do with those pyramids in their past incarnations, it evokes memories of that time and their skills from that time much more quickly. They remember more quickly, so that's an extra bonus.
Určitě.
Can I tell you what happened to me with the pyramid? When you brought it here yesterday and we were sitting outside, I felt the vibration. I was like, okay, it's no coincidence that you came to me. Today, you and I are going to have a meditation together, and we're going to have a conversation. So we sat down in the evening, I sat with it, and Martin says, well, you probably won't last long meditating, holding the pyramid, because it weighs 11 kilos, and I'm like, let's give it a go. So we started, and already, at the time of meditating, I put myself in that state of peace. the altered state of consciousness came, and I talked to it. And I'm going to tell exactly what I saw. So, my beautiful one, where did you come from? How did you get here? And it showed me things and just told me that Martin was the facilitator who was supposed to come and bring it to me so that I could work with it for a while. So I'm grateful that you brought the pyramid because we had a really good chat and we worked together. And then I asked the pyramid, please, what can you show me? Is there anything that you want to tell me? And at that moment, in that vision of mine, it showed me that it was no coincidence that it came to me, that it wanted to show me some things. And it showed me that I once had a past life in Egypt, in ancient times. It showed me the priestesses who worked with the deity Ra, and that those priestesses were the guardians of the pyramids. Then they showed me that those pyramids had been misused in the past for dark purposes, but the guardians of the pyramids possessed the knowledge required to reverse the flow of the energy of the pyramids. It also showed me that each guardian was responsible for activating a particular pyramid, that there were thousands and thousands of pyramids around the world that were currently being activated because those guardians were awakening. It showed me this huge pyramid belt and how those pyramids were activating and where they were activating all over the world, that they were coming together and that they were like the giant harmonizers of Mother Earth. That was shown to me, the energy was shown to me, the tremendous energy when those pyramids came together, such tremendous energy that was flowing through Mother Earth. And it was such a humming noise, and they were expressly harmonizing Mother Earth. It was simply amazing, the things it showed me. I was like, wow, you're amazing, you're beautiful. We had a nice chat. It showed me the past life that I lived there, what I did there, the healing that was done. It showed me an awful lot. And I was like, wow, you're so interesting, and you should probably stay with me. But you told me that this was your personal pyramid. It's clear to me because clearly you're kind of a guardian of that pyramid. And it's just amazing. It communicates. It's amazing. So thank you, pyramid, for coming to me. I love you so much.
Takže ďakujem, že si ku mne prišla, ja ťa moc milujem. A potom...
And now imagine having your own and activating it. What a ride that's going to be.
Ja, akože pracujem na tom.
Yeah, I'm working on it, but thank you for this little one. It's really beautiful. It emits huge power. I felt it immediately. Even this little one, I feel it even without it being activated. I told you about my experience with it, how it showed me everything in that vision. And it was beautiful how we worked together. It also told me we were going to work together, we were going to raise the vibrations, and so we were hurling that love in there, and you could see how it was using that love along with the other pyramids around the world, how they were harmonizing Mother Earth. Well, it was something beautiful, and I say thank you for the wonderful experience you brought to me. Thank you so much for bringing it with you. And please do tell us more because, of course, we're interested in the tidbits around some of the miraculous cures. You were telling me about the water in the well, how it cleans your well.
O tej vode v studni, vo vašej studni, ako vám vyčistila vodu,
Přesně, Ježiš, to je tak důležitý, zajímavý téma. No, my jsme...
Exactly. That's such an important, interesting topic. Well, we installed our pyramid on the 15th of September last year, and we picked a spot for it in the garden where we kind of intuitively felt it should stand. And there was no intention at all to affect the water in any way. There is a well in the garden, but that wasn't the intention at all. Well, we chose a place 12 meters away from the well. And I have to say that we live at the foot of the Iron Mountains, and there is a lot of iron in the water. So that's why we have several filters at home. And the first rough filter is always coated with rust. It's like a plastic container with the filter in it, and the plastic container had always been coated with red rust on the inside.
That bright red.
A já každý 2 měsíce měním ten filtr, nebo čistím, jiný měním, tenhle čistím.
And I change this filter every 2 months, So I put in a different one and clean this one. I use a brush and it doesn't come off. I can't get it off using anything. 4 days after we installed the pyramid there, I went to change and clean the filters. The filter had been rusty for the whole 12 years, and I came after 4 days and it was clean, clear, as if I'd bought a new one, totally clear. And the pyramid was located 12 meters away from the well, and the well is 30 or 25 meters from the house, and this happened in 4 days. Not only does the pyramid clean water, it also cleans the water in ourselves.
I'll tell you, I can confirm it firsthand. Okay, we don't see the energy, but it's obvious that something happens in there in terms of energy. Something is going on in there because we have a double crop in the garden. That had never happened before. The pyramid is simply amazing. I see a change compared to last year, and this year the garden is just a jungle. This is an absolute confirmation of how beautifully the energy works. Wonderful.
That's right. The Russians did a lot of research with the pyramids. They put them over wells, and they cleaned out not only the gross impurities, but supposedly the radiation too. They tried it somewhere in Chernobyl, but that I placed the pyramid 12 meters from a well, and it cleaned it in 4 days.
Hey, miracles do happen.
It's titanium. It's a titanium pyramid.
It's beautiful.
Exactly.
Amazing story. And please do also tell us the story about your swimming pool. That's also amazing.
Swimming pool.
We built a swimming pool in the garden, and I turned off the engine one day, the filtration engine, and I forgot to turn it back on. Well, in 3 days, the water in the pool was completely green, full of the algae that had formed.
Yeah, the sun clearly reacted to that.
So I turned it back on, and luckily it cleaned itself. And this year, our engine broke down, so we had to get it fixed. And I thought of trying to put a little pyramid on the steps in the pool as an alternative before they bring in a new engine. So I took the one weighing 1 kilo and I placed it there. And then every day I'd go down to the pool to see what was going on with the water. And I have to say, there wasn't a trace of algae the whole week. It stayed clean until the replacement engine arrived.
As far as I know, even Emoto did experiments like that. For example, there was a lake that the monks would place their prayers in, and they would eventually clean the lake. This was also in the movie, so I believe when you talk about the energy of that pyramid, how wonderfully it can clean and introduce higher vibrations into water, that no algae can stick there. Those are just amazing confirmations. And I was also going to say, when you put the 1 kilo pyramid in there, I remembered you telling me that you can't meditate with the big one for prolonged periods of time because it's 11 kilos. I was in meditation for an hour, and I didn't know it weighed 11 kilos. I had told the pyramid, listen, Martin said you weighed 11 kilos. And it said, we do have helpers, don't we?
Ale my máme pomocníkov. Ja som tú váhu, tých 11 kg za celý čas.
Well, I didn't feel the 11 kilos the whole time I had the pyramid on my lap, and we meditated together for an hour and a half, and it felt like a minute. Like I said, we have helpers. The two of us just communicated together yesterday, just like friends. And then you also told me the amazing story about what your friend was doing.
Oh, the therapies?
Yes, the girl who did the therapies. That was an amazing story, too. Oh, my God, where have I put it again?
I have a friend who's a therapist. She's been working with people for a long time. We were in Peru together as well. And she has a client who had to have heart surgery for a valve incompetence. She was going to have the surgery in a couple of days, and she got a pyramid from me, this friend of mine, the second biggest one. And on the way home from my house and in the car, the pyramid told her, pull over and activate me. That happened still while they were on the way. So she pulled over and activated it. That's how it went with her. Then they got home and the pyramid told her, now leave me alone for 2 days and then come back.
That's so amazing. They're amazing.
And then the pyramid told her to bring the client who is going to have the surgery in for a bit before the surgery and to get her in there and to treat her a little, to work with her. So she brought the client in and started working with her. And while she was working, she had visions, she saw these beings around her, helping her. And she said that suddenly several pairs of hands appeared above the lady who was lying there, the hands appearing over her heart. And they started to work on the heart. They started to do something there. This lasted about 7 minutes, she said. And she told herself, am I seeing things? Well, when that was over, she was told, the friend of mine was told, that the job was done and there was no need to have the surgery anymore. So she passed on the message to the client like that, and then they quickly called the doctor who examined her to see if he would do one more test, one more check. And the doctor said there was nothing that could have changed in the 14 days since he last did the check, and that he wasn't going to examine her anymore. So they found another doctor who examined her, and he said there was nothing to operate on, that the heart was healthy.
Akože nechápem, že zázraky sa dejú. Akože tá energia...
This is unfathomable. Miracles do happen. The energy simply works when we have such amazing generators that simply create this amazing energy that flies, increases vibrations. And why are we talking about that? Mainly because we already have that help now. We don't have to wait for friends from above. We already have friends here and now that help us in our life with things that we couldn't handle before. We'd see a doctor to treat us. They're such wonderful helpers. They help us increase those vibrations, work with us, reprogram us. You can just see it, and I can vouch for it. This morning, I placed all 3 pyramids together here. What amazing energy. The first thing my cat did was lay his ass on them. I said to him, of course, you know what's good for you.
To je dobré.
A tak to on sám, já myslel, že ty jsi ho tam...
He's kind of different, so yes, I can confirm they're great helpers.
Takže hej, môžem to potvrdiť, je to úžasné, títo pomocníci.
A já mám ještě jednu známou.
I have a friend who is also spiritually very advanced. She says the bigger the pyramid, the higher the density and the higher the levels she gets into. And the friend who had the valve incompetence problem, she says that the bigger the pyramid, the more light beings are behind the pyramid that she can communicate with.
I can confirm this by referencing what happened to me last night. I have a friend who really needed help healing, and the pyramid showed me exactly what to do. So I, with the permission of that friend, of course, I went into her being, and I went there to heal particular organs that she had problems with, and we energetically adjusted precisely those organs, amazingly. And I saw exactly in that vision what we were doing, and she was helping me, of course, with the vibration. She's amazing. You're amazing. So...
Yeah. Takže tak, to je, ja mám asi...
Where did I put the paper again?
I may give you a hint as to what to speak about next. Photons.
Okay, right. That's what you said we were going to talk about.
Now, we know a lot about the pyramids. A lot has been said. But it was only recently that I learned from David Wilcock that the rotation of the pyramidal energy generates photons. And as we said, the universe was actually kind of a simulator, a virtual reality that turns our thoughts into holograms, into things and events. And photons play an essential role in this. Laboratory experiments were conducted where 2 photons were shot in the same direction, and the photons carried the same information. Then they diverted one of them. I don't know if you can see me point my hands in different directions. And then they returned them to their original paths upon which the photons collided and formed a hologram. This created an image of the information that the photons carried, and basically your Merkaba actually shows 2 photons that collided with each other.
Yes, in essence, and they're shaped like a pyramid.
It's 2 tetrahedrons, and this actually represents that collision of photons, which creates an image, that Merkaba, that backdrop of our reality, that cosmic principle of creation. We actually create our reality around us through these photons. It's absolutely amazing. And sacred geometry plays an important role in that, being the structure of the universe. And I see these pyramids like you remove from this structure a tiny invisible mold, and when you create it in physical reality, you amplify what it does there. So suddenly the same happens here on a big scale.
Holy moly.
Turbo.
A to je,
Dá tomu turbo.
přesně.
Exactly. And more about the photons. Not only do they make up our reality, which is absolutely crucial, but it's also been found that our DNA molecules attract, absorb, and store photons. And we have supposedly 100, not millions, not billions, but trillions of DNA molecules in our bodies. And each one has about 1,000 photons in it, which is an incredible number. And it means,
Imagine the huge energy beams that we are.
yes, and most importantly, we're light. We're made of light. Exactly. I saw it when I was on the darkness retreat, that there's light inside of us and that we are actually made of light. And the more photons we have in those DNA molecules, the healthier we are.
V těch molekulách DNA, tím jsme zdravější. Tam
Yes, we do this too. If you remember from the seminar, we did exactly that. Sorry, I interrupted you.
It's okay.
We did exactly that, where we activated the crystal DNA because it's a program. It needs to be turned around, that's all. The intent, too, and the belief that we can turn it around and activate that crystal DNA to realize that.
Pokračuj, sorry.
Exactly. The rotation is basically an extremely interesting topic in its own right. Planets spin. Why? Galaxies spin. Why? David Wilcock says that at the beginning of the creation of the universe, there was a photon that fractalized into other suns and then further into planets. So the universe is made up of photons, which actually, since this is a virtual reality, makes sense. And that the universe is designed to continually generate new photons. Just consider what a photon is capable of in physical reality. A photon hits silicon, knocks the unpaired electron out of it, photovoltaic effect, and electricity is generated. Those little photons that we can't even see, they create this powerful electrical energy. And now I don't know what I was going to say.
About the photons, how powerful they are. David Wilcock talks about it. The whole universe is rotation.
Yeah, and that the universe is designed to constantly produce photons because then there are these holograms, this reality. Without that, it wouldn't be possible. The way I see it, they fly through the universe and nothing happens until they arrive on a planet, and then things get created there. And he says that the pyramid is actually, if you put it upside down, it forms a funnel, and if you pour water in there and let it out at the bottom, it starts to form a vortex, and it starts to rotate. The lower you are, the higher the velocity is. And the pyramid, when you turn it around, there's some energy coming out of the ground that goes into the pyramid, rotates, and creates this upward beam. And David's talking about a portal, plasma, which is actually a tube of photons. So the pyramids are actually portals to other dimensions at the same time. So the photons...
What a ride that was. Where are we going with this? Don't worry, I'll show you. And okay, I trust you. What a ride that was.
And now, you know, as I drove here to your place yesterday, I now have those photons in my head. So there was this truck coming towards me, and it had photon written on the cab. And I drove a truck for 15 years, and I still drive a lot in my car. And I'd never seen a transport company called Photon. And yesterday, an hour from here...
To sú proste tie synchronicity, tie konfirmácie toho univerza.
That's just synchronicities, those confirmations. It's just like that. You're on the right track. You know what that reminded you of? When you were talking about your pyramid that you have at home, please relate to us the experience you had with that butterfly, because it's just amazing, beautiful.
Those were two of the exact same experiences, and there was about a month in between. I found a butterfly in my garage. It was hypothermic, wrapped in a spider web. It wasn't moving. I didn't know if it was dead or alive, so I took it outside, took the web off, put it on my finger, and exposed it to the sun. And nothing happened for a minute, 5, maybe even 10 minutes that I was there, and it didn't move. And then I saw a pyramid behind it. Something told me, take it to the pyramid. So I took the butterfly up there. After a few seconds, tens of seconds, the butterfly, with its wings like this, it flapped the wings twice, turned towards the exit of the pyramid, and flew away. And the same happened to me a month later with another butterfly. I got goosebumps all over.
Amazing. I could totally feel it. These confirmations are so tangible that it's impossible to believe. These are just absolutely tangible confirmations that it works, that the energy works. I have seen it spin before, of course. When it's spinning, it's so much stronger. And it also showed me that when the other one beneath it spins, I just want to say it showed me a lot on that evening, but I don't remember everything because it was such a ride. I had an amazing experience with it yesterday. It was a truly amazing ride.
Ja som mala s ňou včera úžasný zážitok, fakt úžasnú jazdu.
No, áno, přesně.
Exactly.
Áno, je to tak. Áno.
Neviem, tak potom ja dám samozrejme aj...
I don't know, so I'll put your website on there, of course, if anybody's interested. We've talked about it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to write, because we can do a sequel because there are so many experiences.
Yeah, exactly. We're just doing the experiments right now of putting 2 on top of each other. One has its tip up, the other has its tip down. This creates an octahedron, and when it spins, it generates more energy. We're conducting experiments, so there's definitely something to talk about.
O čom hovorí. Úžasné, ale na začiatok nám to...
Amazing, but it's totally enough for us to start with. I appreciate it immensely. The gift is beautiful. I can feel it vibrating, and also where they are all together. But thank you for coming. We basically met randomly in synchronicity, in person, here and at the seminar. Thank you for coming. We could talk about it. You told us some beautiful things about it. There is so much evidence that these energies really work, and if anyone is interested, just write. I will put a link in the video where they can order it.
Naozaj fungujú. A kto by mal záujem, stačí napísať, ja dám do videjka link, kde si to môžu...
Já myslím, že můžou...
I think they can reach out to you directly.
So, my beloved ones, that's about it for today. Anything else we would like to say to them in conclusion?
Yes. These are wonderful tools, and by amplifying our thoughts, they make us learn some of that mental discipline, the ability to control our thoughts. So why not take advantage of that? Why should we unconsciously create what we don't want when we can consciously create what we do want? And that's what the pyramids help us do.
Absolutely. It's just like you say. Pay attention to what you're thinking, and especially now, because the energies are just different than they were a couple of years ago or a month ago. So especially now, you really should pay attention to what you're thinking, because that thought is still the most powerful creative force in this universe, and even more so when we have these little helpers that give it an extra thrust. Then miracles happen. Martin, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you too.
My beloved ones, I am looking forward to the next video with you. If you liked the video, slap a like on it, send it to your friends, subscribe to the channels. All the links will be under the description. I am still doing meditations every Friday and Saturday night, of course, and I also invite you to the amazing seminar, a weekend stay where we do many interesting things, and rest assured that these helpers will be there with us and raise the vibrations. I love you so much, and I send light, love, peace, and harmony to you and to this beautiful planet for all of you.
Thank you too. Thank you.